Hi, it's Morag from Our Permaculture Life and the Permaculture Education Institute, and welcome back for another live. Today in Plastic Free July, I wanted to talk a little bit about the skirts that I make. Now, normally I don't really talk much about fashion, you know me, I'm just normally in the standard old things that I'm always in, but a lot of people ask me about these skirts that I wear, and I actually consciously pick things that I know that I can compost at the end of their life. So, you know, all these sorts of things are cotton fabric, so I can just stick them in my worm farm or as a mulch somewhere in the garden afterwards. And the thing is too that when I make them as these wrap skirts, they don't have any buttons or zips or anything like that that become waste in the garden. Although, you know, it's also totally possible as well to pull those things out afterwards. I've been known to stick in some sheets that have the elastic around, the fitted sheets, into a worm farm, ones that had got past being usable, and I stuck them in there as sort of a blanket for the worm farm, and they eventually ate that all, and I came back a few months later and just pulled out the elastic and I could dispose of that, but the rest of it went into the system. So I wanted to let you know basically how I made them. So essentially it's just one piece of fabric, and I select something that, you know, if I've been traveling into a country and they have amazing fabrics, that's the one thing that I bring back home. So I have, you know, lots of collections of things from recent trips to Africa or into Indonesia, and so that's what I bring home. So these ones from Indonesia are basically sarongs, and so that's it. I just wrap them around and use them as a sarong. No tie, no buttons, no zips, nothing, just wrap it around and tie it up, and that's it. So that's super simple. And then these ones here, what I've done is I took the pattern off one of the skirts that I actually found in Uganda. And so essentially it's just one piece of fabric that is almost like a I don't know if I can show you this, I might have to draw it. So it's almost a semicircle, and then it's got just the wrap around with a tie here like this. So what I do is I just, once I've got one, I just chop out the next one, and then I make the length of the bit around the waist enough so that I can overlap it by about that much. So that when you've wrapped it around you can do a measure with a piece of string or something, wrap it around and hold it there and see if you can get like overlap that way and that way. And then that's the length of the circle in the middle, and then you just go out from that, and as long as you want it. So it's completely adaptable to whatever shape or size you are. And then also because there's enough overlap, if you kind of, you know, been to a big party, you just undo the tie a little bit, or, you know, we change throughout the month as well as throughout the year. So it's nice to have that adaptability. And then out of the offcut section, I just stitch together the strap. So this strap here is made up of numerous bits of the leftover bits of fabric, which then make the tie. So like I said, it's just one piece of fabric. So all you need to do is do the hem at the bottom. But if you plan it well too, see here, I've used actually the edge of the fabric so that is, I don't have to hem it. It's just the natural sort of binding on the edge of the fabric. So that's one edge, and then just trim it up the side. So I just fold it over and fold it over again and put a stitch along there, and then stitch on the top. It's so super easy. Now, I'm not a master sewer by any stretch of the imagination, but what I do appreciate is that when I was 16, my mum gave me a sewing machine and a series of lessons with the seamstress down the road. Now, I think that's such a brilliant thing to do. So, you know, I've done a similar thing with my daughter, as when she started a bit earlier. I think when she was 10, she got her first sewing machine, and she started making things firstly for her guinea pigs, like little guinea pig costumes, and then she started making bags, and now she's making clothes for herself, and it's a great thing to be able to mend and make clothes like that. It makes the type of things that you have stretch so much longer, or to be able to adapt things that you have, things that you find in the op shops maybe, to be able to fix those up. And just, it enables you to be able to step out of that kind of fast fashion world. And as we know, that's kind of one of the ones that has so much waste embedded within it too. And also, I mentioned before about all the microfibers and the plastic clothing. So if we can step out of that by getting in and making our own clothes. So yeah, so I have this blue and red one, I have an orange one, and I think that's about all I've got at the moment. So I'm about to make another one out of this one here. So this is the next one that's coming, and I really like the colours and the patterns in this one as well. So and that's kind of also why I just have a one standard colour of top with leggings underneath, because then any other colour of wrap doesn't matter, it goes with all the same. So it's a simple wardrobe, it's a very functional one, and like I said the other day, it's really simple to be able to, you know, I go and garden in it, I can teach in this, you know, and I've even been to Westminster dressed in these clothes as well. So you can kind of dress them up and dress them down, and it's just really wonderfully adaptive. So join me again tomorrow for another live talking about, I'll be out in the garden actually tomorrow. There's something that I'm going to be digging up, and I wanted to talk about how you can use that to actually get rid of something that often comes in plastic into our homes. So hope you'll join me for that, and I'll put a few more links to below as well about the permaculture courses and programs and resources that I have that are available for free. So I'm sorry I missed you yesterday, because I was actually working on editing and releasing a podcast with Fritjof Capra and the Perma Youth. So we had this science elder with two young women who had a conversation together. So I'll also put the link to that below as well.